Honcho is the first reverse auction marketplace for financial services products. Suppliers of product compete with each other in real time.
So we kind of decided to really bring a bit of delight to the users, make it a bit more interesting, a bit of excitement now and then.
Hello and welcome to Homescreen by 11FS Pulse. We're here with Tom, Chief of Product, and Luke, Director of Interrobang, the man behind the design. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Come a long way, so we greatly appreciate it. So to start off with Tom, can you explain to us what is Honcho?
Yeah, so Honcho is the first reverse auction marketplace for financial services products. What does that mean? It means that suppliers of product insurance to begin with compete with each other in real time for a better deal for the end user.
Okay.
So, like I say, they join the platform and they kind of see what other people are doing on the platform and can use that information to rebid against each other to win that user's business. Starting with insurance, we'll move into a full kind of personal line suite of insurance products first, then into other financial services products as well. And it's primarily app-based, although we do have a kind of a web app application as well. It's there for people to play hard to get, as our tagline says.
Sweet. And real interested in how you guys came around the proposition itself, and also what is the value prop for insurers who are otherwise used to the old way of doing things.
Yeah, sure. So company was started kind of 3 or 4 years ago. Initially started life as an app-based price comparison website. And then our kind of 2 co-founders, Gavin Sewell, as our CEO, and Frank Spate, who's our commercial director, kind of got together. Gavin's got a financial markets background, where obviously price settles where the market determines it needs to settle, and brought in that kind of real-time competitiveness angle into the product. So in terms of what that means for value for insurers is if they kind of use the platform well. Because we charge a quid to bid as opposed to a commission on sale, we expect, and we've modelled through, that they can kind of expect 4 to 5 times lower CPAs versus other channels, and that obviously then means for the consumer they can pass on some of that saving as well. Sweet. And equally save a little bit themselves. So that's how we're attracting people to the platform. It's a cheaper way to sell policies, basically.
Sweet, real cool proposition. And Luke, can we talk about how you fit into all of this?
Yeah, I kind of designed the Honcho product as it stands alongside Tom. From absolutely nothing, just an idea and a couple of people, to what it is now with kind of, how many insurers you got kind of?
We've got 6 live on the platform, but a backlog of 20, 30, something like that,
And all this interest and everything, we've kind of seen it come from, really not much at all to now what it is, which is pretty sweet.
Pretty exciting. And we've talked previously about how you guys work with a lot of external agencies to kind of get to where you are right now. To pretend that Luke's not here. What we're going to do is just talk about, are there any teething problems working with external companies?
Yeah, I mean, with any kind of relationship like that, I think there's always going to be teething problems. We have this concept of Honcho time internally, which moves a lot faster than everybody else does. And so, we need to kind of make sure that we're working on normal time. The relationship with Hedgehog Lab, with Social Chain, who look after our marketing, and PR Agency One look after our PR. They've been all great relationships. But with any kind of, even internal big companies have those kinds of natural frictions, which I think are okay. It's been great working with Luke and the team, and what we've got currently is far more than MVP. It's been really great.
Sweet. And I guess jump into this Honcho we've been talking quite a bit about. We'll jump to our first user journey, which is the bidding for applications. So what you see on your initial page is you're able to see your active and your past bids. If it's empty, as you see here, what you get is a nice little animation, someone staring through the O, and just a bit of copy here to let you know that you've got nothing here yet. So you're able to initiate the application to get new bids. So what you're then able to do is scan your license. And I think what's really cool here, and which we'll deep dive, and we'll see a lot throughout the Honcho journeys, is a lot of really good illustrations and animations to kind of let you know what you're about to get yourself into. So after scanning your license, you're then sort of taken into the actual sort of journey there. And I think for me that's like really cool. And what I wanted to talk to you about, Luke, is like why choose to give us a bit of delight in the beginning and the empty screen. Like you could have just told us there's nothing here yet and on your way with a CTA, but you've taken us the next step. Why?
So like looking at the kind of competitor spread when we first kind of were getting involved in Honcho, it was very much a very serious market and everything being taken very seriously, and no one likes doing insurance in the first place. Like, it's just another chew-on activity you have to do. So we kind of decided to really bring a bit of delight to the users and make it a bit more interesting, a bit of excitement now and then. Not too much, it's still a thing that we've got to, you've got to get right. Don't make it too distracting, but just a little bit of animation work just to bring the whole brand to life, really. That's the main kind of point.
And differentiate as well, as Luke said.
Absolutely, from just the static, get the job done. We get the job done and actually have a bit of fun along the way.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And what I also wanted to talk about was that whole bit where they scan the license. I wanted to know, first, are you doing the reg checks in-house or are you outsourcing?
No, so that license scan is purely kind of machine readable zone. So it's kind of, there's no images stored of the license. It kind of scans it in real time and pulls off the information it needs to, and we then store it in our kind of secure databases. It kind of just does it in real time, really.
And did you guys build that capability yourself? Or
no, it's a third party bit of kit.
Sweet.
Yeah, and there's I think there's a few out there. I think between kind of our CTO and Hedgehog Lab, you guys selected who we're using.
Sweet.
And we're just about to, it's not in the web application yet, but we're just about to put it into the web application as well, so that we're kind of more consistent across channels. It's in iOS and in Android, and like you say, it just helps to bring a bit of something different to the experience, and equally it's helping the user to not have to enter as much data as well.
Reducing the cognitive load, of course.
Indeed.
And off the back of that, because this is something I've personally found myself struggling with when building onboarding applications. So you said you're trying to bring this this scanning license to your web app.
Yes.
How does that work practically? Is this something that, so the issue we found was people aren't used to turning on their webcam and holding like...
So we bounce to mobile device.
Okay.
So you'd be on your laptop, say I want to scan my license, we bounce you to your native phone.
Okay.
So most modern smartphones have cameras in them. It's a secure connection to that. You take the picture on your phone, it then pings it back into the web app and shows you everything there. And Luke's done all design work on that as well.
Nice.
There is some hints and tips along the way how to get a good scan and make sure you're well lit and it's square on and things like that. But it's actually using a mobile phone device.
Nice. Now we'll be excited to see. And you said that's coming out soon.
Yeah, it should be next month or so, something like that.
Excited to see that come through. And also something I wanted to ask you was the progress bar. I mean, it's something we're used to seeing, visibility of system status and whatnot. But you guys are taking it one step further by like colouring each step. Well, not each step. You can start off with red and then move on to yellow and then to green. Like, where did that idea come from?
Yeah, so I mean, in its simplest form, it's just simple design colour theory. Green being complete progression, where people kind of desire to end up. And we move them through each one. So instead of it kind of jumping, it kind of animates and grows, so they can see that like how far along they are, as well as kind of their status within each section of, I'm kind of mid-tier at this point, get me to green. It's just the simple colour gamification.
Really cool there. And something that I ask pretty much anyone, anytime we get like an application journey on is, so there's two main school of thoughts. There's one question per page or few questions within one viewport to try and reduce the cognitive load. Increases the amount of clicks, but I mean, it helps users feel like there's less to get through. And then there's the age-old theory of get as many questions there so they don't have to go through as many pages. So you guys have like scaled it all the way back to one per page. Can you talk us through like the idea behind that, why you've chosen to?
So the original kind of concept for going kind of section by section, page by page, question by question, was a decision that came like actually from quite a chunky piece of hypothesis-led design that we did, which we kind of paired off. Let's do it all in a long form, let's do it in a mid form, and let's do it in a short form. And even though, it was more taps, and even in some instances would have taken longer to do it step by step for a user, the end result was they all kind of, like, of the testers, they were kind of like, this felt quicker for us. And they saw that quick progression. They saw those moments of delight pop up, like you've completed a section, instead of having to filter everything and send it all off in one API call. It just kind of worked better. And also doing it page by page, it breaks it up for the user so they can drop out when they want to. They can come back in. But also things like being able to have it all, instead of firing it all off in one go, we don't lose anything if something goes wrong.
So it's a save. It's like a save and resume, right? So you're on the bus and you get through 4 of 7 screens, for instance, and then you go into a tunnel or something, and your signal drops. Everything that you've done up to that point, we've captured and stored. So that when you come back into signal, you carry on from where you left off, as opposed to losing the whole thing. So we're firing the save element every time they move a screen.
That's really interesting, because I did notice that there wasn't actually like a save button. So you say you auto save, and then how would you jump back into that journey?
So when you come back in, if you're partway through the journey and you kind of go, I want to get some bids, we take you back to the place where you left off.
Nice.
So you're not having to cycle through stuff that you've done, because you could be 2 steps from the end. So when you come back, we drop you back in at the place that you left.
So, sweet. And I guess we'll move on to our next journey, which is getting new bids. Personal favorite of ours, for one obvious reason. So you come to the end of the journey, the onboarding journey, and then after that you're met with, hands down, one of the greatest animations we've seen in any kind of app, which is the good old Fortnite flossing dance. And then after you progress from that, you're then sort of taken to an hourglass, which takes you through various rounds of getting bids. And then at the end of that, you're presented with your bids from various insurers. So what I wanted to ask was, first, just get out of the way.
Tell the flossing story.
This is what we're here for, really. So you can leave afterwards.
We were thinking about what we could do, like with the brand of Honcho and how we kind of bring it to life. Because again, looking at the competitors, it's all static. There's not much kind of movement to the brand. So we wanted to bring in kind of a more animated, lifelike feature to it, like bring it a bit more human level. So what better way to put in human characteristics? So I actually ended up having about 2 or 3 people in the office flossing for me, because I could not do it, and I could not figure it out, and I had them going for like half-hour periods of just kind of doing this floss motion in front. And, that hand is moving there. Okay, right, that hip is being flung to that side. Right, okay. But yeah, there's a few of those where I was like, can someone just do this particular dance move for me, just so I can make an animation for Honcho, please?
That's so cool.
But no, it was good fun.
And a lot of work in After Effects.
After Effects, and then exporting to Lottie. So it's read in iOS and Android, and now web. So
Sweet. And even off that, something that I was thinking about, as you said, so like this flossing dance is quite a pretty young dance. I mean, viral, but quite a pretty young dance. Do you think that it often detracts from some of your older audience, or do you
potentially? So where we've started with Honcho is kind of targeting Gen Z people and millennial people. For I guess a couple of main reasons. One being they're kind of on their phones all the time, so it kind of makes sense. And equally, they typically pay the most in insurance as well. So from a competitive real-time marketplace, stand to potentially gain the most as well. So that's where we started out. It's by no means exclusive to that target audience. It also kind of fits with our social media marketing strategy. So like I say, Social Chain up in Manchester, they're kind of handling a lot of that for us. And pushing a lot out over social channels. So the kind of younger flossing style stuff kind of fit well with that initial target market. But yeah, Honcho's for anybody really. And actually some of our kind of more older users have really liked some of the animations and stuff that we've got in there, because it makes it different, right? Definitely. It stands out and it's memorable. So it's that's the theory behind it.
No, sweet. And also want to ask, why the multiple rounds? What's happening at each round as you see the hourglass?
So that is real time bidding, messages out and back to software houses, insurers, brokers. So user captures their data, says I want some bids. We go out to kind of everyone that's on the Honcho platform. They decide whether they want to put a bid in or not, because they're going to pay if they put a bid in. They put a bid in. Honcho collects all of that data up from anybody that's in the auction and goes out for a second round, back out to everybody and shares that data with them. So it might be that there's 3 of us in the auction and your price is 500, mine's 495, and Luke's is, I don't know, 600. And you can see that I'm beating you and in real time do something about it and undercut me. And the same happens in round 3. So that's what the kind of the on-screen rounds is actually happening.
Okay.
Yeah, so what you'll see is when a rebid happens, the existing bid flies out one way and a new bid comes in.
Okay.
It flies out right and a new one comes in on the left. To show the user actually you can't interact with this yet, but there's actually real stuff happening in the background, and things are going on. And then on that modal as well, we've got kind of a bid counter. So this is the activity that's happening. This is the lowest price. And you can see that price reducing as hopefully the auction unfolds. So there's quite a bit of stuff going on there to really embed with the user that actually there's some real time stuff going on and proper competitions going on for your business.
And to deep dive into the mechanics of that a little bit, what is happening on the other side? Is it people live actually making bids, or is it like APIs?
So it's all API connections,
okay, cool.
and what insurers and brokers will have at their end is, so they take our data as like an enrichment, and then feed it back into their pricing engines. So you know, it might be a scenario of if you're being undercut by £10, then reduce my price by 15, for instance, that kind of rules-based logic. So they take it as an enrichment and do something with it, or not. If they're winning, then probably won't do anything about it. But it's like I say, it's messaging, API messaging out and back, and the whole thing, as you've seen, unfolds in 30 seconds. And it was key for us to keep the length of the auction really short to kind of maintain attention and so users don't lose interest. So that was kind of the thinking behind it.
Sweet. And to talk to you, Luke, about some of the design decisions made here, because I mean, over here at FinTech, we find often that we're having to like explain a lot of things to people just because you're not trying to lose people in all like the financial jargon, and it even dives deep into like how you design. And I think one thing that Tom mentioned was that behind the hourglass animation, you see things coming in and out. What prompted the design of doing that? Why not just have the hourglass spinning? Because that's enough to let people know things is happening.
That's it. So it was keeping people engaged.
Okay.
After kind of batch of testing, we just kind of put it out to see what their initial thoughts were. And the animation itself, like, how many seconds is it for it to come back actually?
It's 10 now.
10 seconds?
Yeah, so the hourglass is 10 seconds.
Which obviously, when you say 10 seconds, that's not much. But when you're in kind of targeting the market that we are, it's instant. That's what everyone is after all the time. And people were just losing interest. We did it from right to kind of the first instance of it's a simple spinner, just to see people's reaction against that. And they were like, is it broken? They're like 4 seconds, they're like, why is this not here now? So then we looked at kind of different ways. We brought in that more kind of interactive looking bid style thing with them flying in and out so people can see what's going on. But even that, people are like, why can't I kind of interact with this? I just want that one. It's like, no, it's not ready. So then we had to like come up with this kind of system of putting something on top so they can see what's happening. They're engaged with that kind of the bid still flying in and out, but also they're being told in a clear-cut breakdown what round they're on, the hourglass spinning so they can see how long it's left, and the lowest bid count, and all of this. And that finally, after that, when we put it out, they're like, yeah, this makes sense. I'm fine with waiting this long.
I think the challenge we had with that is that it's very different to what people are used to seeing on comparison sites today. And so, as Luke said, there was a bunch of testing that went into that to try and find the optimum way of deconditioning, if that's the right phrase, people from what they're previously used to seeing to actually this is something where real-time competition's happening for you. Kind of there has to be a small amount of patience with it, and keeping people interested while that happens is kind of what Luke and the guys have done really well.
Big fan of it, and even like to follow on from that, the next step after that is the Honcho meter, and I mean, you very well could have just dumped them into like the bid and shown them a bunch of bids with like lines, and I guess like it's not too far-fetched to say that the green is a good one and the yellow isn't too great, but you've taken that next step and even like potentially added a bit of friction in between what is like a 30-second bidding process. Why did you feel it was necessary to like add that layer as opposed to, let's say, adding a tooltip on the cards, for example? Like
the whole like Honchometer bit that we put in was really to add value to the user. Technically, like, it detracts from an insurer's bid. Like, they put their best bid forward. In terms of our eyes, what the user's actually asking for, it might not be great. So it's all entirely based for that user, so they get kind of the most satisfaction out of the product. They know before they even click into something if it's even worth looking at. Which obviously encourages insurers to kind of do better for their bids, and then all of this is gearing towards getting a user a better outcome for their insurance.
Okay, sweet. And I guess the final journey we have for today is, the final part of this process, which is selecting bids. Jump into now. So after you've received your bids, you're allowed to choose one, and then you're taken to a page where you're able to see sort of, from the top per month, and then you're able to switch to the annual payments, and then off the back of that you can scroll down and see like what's involved in your insurance and what's not involved, you're able to like then purchase this bid and then jump into the insurance part of the process, which we'll talk a little about later. Once again,
we have got something else other than flossing. I think we've got hands up dance and two-step dance.
I mean, you don't even need anything. Flossing is all you need. I mean, just throw the whole UI out, just floss it.
Still hoping to get that Carlton dance in this.
Please do.
Well, those dancing people have actually been put on windows. I don't think that we've seen it here. In our office, we've got like vinyl stuck on the windows in the office now. Yeah, so they've been brought to life in physical form. It's all good.
Great stuff. I'm a big fan, guys. But yeah, so to jump into kind of that journey there.
So through the journey, we asked kind of what would you like to see in your insurance. Some people might like to see kind of nothing added. Other people might like to see loads of other value-adding features included in their product. So displaying on that kind of inspector screen, if you like, what's included, what's missing, and what you can buy later on. We felt was really important, so that the user's really informed before they actually even land on an insurer's or broker's web page to buy it. And what they've selected through the journey and what's actually included in the product drives the Honchometer score as well. And so that, like I said, that was really key for us. The first iteration didn't actually have the monthly annual toggle in, and that's something we built in afterwards. And what you'll notice on that is we clearly kind of underneath the price articulate, if you pay annually it's this, and actually it's this much saving over paying monthly, because there's obviously interest that you'll pay on the monthly side. So again, helping the user to be informed of if you pay annually, if you can afford to pay annually, you're going to not pay this much in insurance, whereas if you can't or you want to pay monthly, then there's a different set of payment schedule and the rest of it. So like I say, it's really about informing the user, helping the user to be really informed about what they're getting themselves into.
Absolutely. Jumping on the back of that, another big one is like, obviously we then take them from the Honcho app and we present like the insurer's website to make the payment. So Honcho's brand is entirely determined on what they think of the end experience as well. And if they go through this and feel like they've been tricked into getting an insurance policy with the company, it's Honcho's brand that suffers as a result. So ensuring that they're informed at the forefront, right at the beginning of everything, is like key to kind of a big success drive for Honcho.
And I was going to deep dive a bit more into like transitioning and experience the experience from sort of Honcho to the insurer. I'm guessing you guys, talk me through, do you guys have any control over what that experience is like? Or is that pretty much just like you throw them into like the wild west and hope for the best?
It's little. I'll let Tom come.
Yeah, I mean, so we as you see in kind of the video, we bounce people out, albeit we keep them in our app.
Yeah, kind of.
And there's a bit of branding at the top that helps the user to understand you're still in Honcho, but you're kind of on an insurer or broker's webpage now. We're absolutely helping them if those pages aren't rendering nicely in mobile. On web, it's a slightly different experience. We pop a new tab, so you kind of stay in Honcho on one tab and bounce to somebody else in another tab, and web pages generally render pretty well. It's more so in the native apps that we're feeding back all the time. Look, this doesn't look great, or can you help with this, or because ultimately it's going to affect their conversion rate as well, which has a down an upstream impact on us. So it's very much we're very much in a partnership with all of these guys, and helping them out as much as possible. But as Luke said, to a degree we're at the mercy of what that page looks like when we bounce them there, because it's no longer under our control.
Of course.
Because Honcho doesn't take payment, they take payment and kind of issue policy documents and the rest of it. So we're helping, but we're at the mercy of it as well.
It's all right. Win some, you lose some. But I wanted to talk a bit more about the tone of voice as well. I realised that once you sort of jump into this page, underneath the Honcho meter, you get text like the stars have aligned, and I want to know what exactly is your tone of voice like. If Honcho is a physical person, what kind of characteristics will that person kind of have?
I don't know. I've never described Honcho as a physical person before, but I think the language is really important to what I mentioned earlier about kind of the initial target market that we're going after. That kind of language for me helps to keep those types of people engaged and tries to speak the way they speak. So that was really key for us, and that you'll see it persists through the whole app. And Luke's pretty instrumental in some of that language as well. And you know, some of the transitions we've got like little fist pumps and little explosions and stuff like that. And stuff that people will resonate with in our kind of initial target market. Now, as we grow and start to target people beyond that demographic, the language will probably have to be fettled a little bit and change so that it works for more people. But certainly right now, it's all about speaking that language essentially. I don't know if you've got anything.
I feel like, so again, when we're looking like right back at the start, when we did that kind of competitor spread, like you know, you just at the beginning of a project, you're taking screenshots of competitors, seeing how they kind of do things and lay it out. A big thing was just jargon everywhere. And I was looking at this like, bear in mind, obviously, I know the app game and I understand what I'm about to make here, but I was reading it like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. What is this thing? So yeah, a big part of when we were coming up with this kind of brand, like yes, we've got kind of the animations and yes, we've got kind of the vibrant colours and things like that going on, but a huge part of it is that tone of voice and getting it right with the people that we want to be using the product. Like making sure, again, they understand everything that they're going in, understanding why they're putting in details and what we're going to be using it for. And making sure they're completely on board. And a huge part of that is ensuring that we can actually talk to them as people. So yeah, we had a couple of guys working on kind of the branding side and helping come up with this tone of voice and how we wanted to lay it all out. And we came with this kind of friendly chat approach, even hoying in emojis and things, just as if it were
a big part of it,
a standard conversation across an app that you would use normally.
And does that transfer into like even your social media?
Yeah, absolutely. It all follows a similar tone of voice. Like I say, it's the language that the target demographic speak. So absolutely, it has to, because the brand will persist. It has to persist across all channels of communication. So across social, less so on some of the PR side because that's kind of targeted to different people, so some of the kind of national newspapers and other bits like that, but certainly in the end user facing stuff it's all the same.
Sweet. And towards the end of that journey, what we saw was you guys threw up a Trustpilot page. Why did you feel the need to include this data? What sort of trust are you guys trying to leverage and like why?
So I think Trustpilot is widely recognised as a go-to place, much like when I go on holiday I always look on TripAdvisor to assess the hotel or whatever. When I'm using something new, Trustpilot it is kind of one of those things I look at. So that was really important for us to get our users becoming our advocates via that kind of mechanism, along with App Store reviews and whatever else. There's obviously a few that are in Trustpilot space, but they're kind of the leader. So it was important for us to hopefully capture some kind of positive stuff at the end of the journey once you've been through the whole thing and you've got a full view of actually this is how this app works, this is how I buy, etc. Okay, give us an honest review and hopefully it's positive most of the time.
And that's it again, it's just being attached to a third party insurer, not knowing how their experience is going to be entirely, that is always a bit of a concern, but again, if we get the feedback through that's like, didn't like this last bit, we can then take that forward to kind of third parties as well, so it's all useful data still.
Sweet. I think we've come to the end of all like the user journey. So before we get you guys out of here, just want to get a general feel of kind of where you guys are in your product life cycle, and like what's going on in the future for us. So I guess I'll just throw it out first. Where are you in like the product life cycle?
So we officially went kind of hard live just over 4 weeks ago. We'd done a bit of a soft launch back in June, and the product's been 12-18 months in the making. Like I say, the challenge has been kind of getting insurers on board. We're well down that journey now, so we've launched with vanilla car insurance. Next for us is a dedicated learner driver zone, because that's, we feel, not well served by current channels. Then we'll look at kind of van insurance, because that's a big space as well. And then kind of next year we'll look at the home insurance and other insurance lines, and then the world's our oyster from a financial services product perspective. We're kind of at our chapter one, and there's many more to come. We're kind of very young in our being out there in the wild, but it looks like car insurance now, personal product lines in insurance in the next kind of 12 months really. Yeah.
Sweet. And I guess throw out to both of you, is there anything in particular you guys are excited about? That of course you can share with us. But yeah, anything you guys are particularly excited about at Honcho right now?
What am I most excited about Honcho? Growing, I think.
Yeah.
Because for a long time we were describing ourselves as 5 guys in a basement, and Luke's seen with the basement that we were in. So we've recently moved offices into a bigger space, a bit like you guys.
Yep.
Growing the team, growing the number of products that we offer, spreading the Honcho message.
Nice.
And yeah, making the consumer better off, I think is.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very generic.
Yeah.
Growth stuff really.
Yeah. So
I just like that it's tech for good. You know,
Yeah.
it's like helping people get things for cheaper using good quality tech. Like,
Yeah.
I like it. It's nice. It's actually doing some value rather than usually people just getting commission off insurance policies. It's giving a little bit back to the people that need it most. I like that.
Yeah.
Sweet. And I guess in the future, what's next for like the Honcho design language? Like where do you see it going next?
I think a big part of kind of as it grows is kind of bringing in that brand more and more, kind of really honing in on the message, especially as the audience grows. As we move into things like home insurance, like Tom was saying, and a few others, obviously it all changes. The dynamic suddenly doesn't become the younger market. You then have homeowners, which are always, people usually that have lived a little bit longer than 17 years. But yeah, as that grows and the market grows, we need to just kind of bring in that brand a bit more and really be kind of stand-touring in our approach.
And because we're going to become multi-product, some of the experiences in the app will need to shift a little bit as well, specifically up front to get the user into the right thing that they're interested in. So.
Sweet. Thank you guys for coming down today. It's rare we get to talk with guys at the very, very sort of genesis of their product. So exciting times. Hope to have you guys back again soon.
Yeah,
and see where you guys are next up. But yeah, that's all we have time for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stop by next week for more insights and user journeys. If you want to see more of 11FS Pulse, head over to 11fs.com where you can request a demo. If you've got any questions about the product or want to suggest a journey for us to include on our platform, even the show, hit us up on pulse at 11fs.com or find us on Twitter at 11fs Pulse. Tom, Luke, where can people find out about you guys and more about Honcho?
So we're on gethoncho.com. I'm on Twitter at TomSpence24.
Sweet.
You can find me at interrobang_GG or at Luke Medlock.
Sweet. So thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Take care. Homescreen is a show all about product design where we showcase some of the best examples of user experiences from the 11FS Pulse research platform. Pulse is what our customers use to do their benchmarking, and it includes over 2,500 user journeys from financial service products all around the world.